mean, you'll have seen that Mexico is football mad. And so it's been really exciting. They've been looking forward to having the World Cup. I mean, I've been here a year and a half, and we've been talking about the World Cup all of the time since I got here. And once they did the draw for this, we've known that the possibility of an England versus Mexico match, there are a few ifs, they've both got to come out first and they've both got to win the next game, but that's been on our radar as something that might happen. And so both within Mexico and within the embassy here, there is a huge amount of excitement for the game tomorrow. I mean, the Mexicans are used to this. It's rainy season. This is what happens here. There is rain, and, you know, it usually comes and you get a really, you know, strong burst of rain and then it goes. And so I would imagine that, I know that they've been preparing for this, but I would imagine that the plan will be that if the weather gets in any way problematic because of lightning or anything, they'll obviously have to suspend the game for a little bit. We'll follow all the instructions of the authorities and then we'll go again. So I don't know if you've been looking on social media, but what England fans can expect is a huge amount of enthusiasm and some gentle ribbing in a really nice way. And I don't know if you know this, but football is a really strong connection between England and Mexico. So British miners moved to a place called Pachuca, which is about an hour and a half's drive from here, 200 years ago, and they brought football with them. That was the introduction of football into Mexico. And so we're known for having brought football here. There's lots of links across all different kinds of sport, but sport's been a part of our common language and culture for a really long time. I think Mexicans are really excited to be playing England, and they're looking forward to the game. You know, I think you'll find a lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm, and a tough game for both sides. Yeah, so I know the Mexicans have been thinking really hard about all of this, and I feel confident that they've put a lot of thought into it, and that the vast majority of people are determined to just really enjoy the game. Yeah, so I would ask anybody who's here to make sure they've read all of the advice that we're putting out on social media. We've really talked a lot to the authorities here about it and thought a lot about what we can and should say to fans. It's the usual things you would expect about being aware of your surroundings, knowing how you're going to get home from the match, being cautious in big crowds, those sorts of things. But I would suggest people follow our social media, follow any instructions from the local authorities, and if people do get into trouble, then they can contact the embassy. We're here to help, and our number one priority is making sure that those people who've travelled here are looked after and protected. I think it's just because of how big the fixture is and a determination from the Mexicans to do all they can to make sure they're, you know, looking after everybody. Well, I was actually on a plane yesterday travelling back from England for 12 hours, so I was in the air while all of this happened. So my team did speak to FIFA because our priority is just making sure that British fans have all the information they need. And so our conversation was about making sure we understood what was going on. But as it turns out, the game is going ahead at 6 o'clock. So as you are. No, so my team, as I said, they were in contact with FIFA because they wanted to understand what was happening. But we got assurances yesterday that the game was going ahead at 6 o'clock. And so that's where we're at. So I advise people to read our travel advice, which is deliberately very, very detailed. Mexico is an enormous and wonderful country, and our travel advice is very detailed about where within Mexico you can travel with precautions and where we advise people not to travel. Mexico City is all within the area that we say travel with caution is fine. The vast majority of visitors here every year have a fantastic stay and don't have any problems, but we would caution people to read our travel advice and follow the guidance we give within it.
I mean, it
it's
seems
brilliant.
Very friendly.
It is totally brilliant, and I do think you won't find a more enthusiastic supporter base than you've got here in Mexico, and with the Brits arriving with all of their enthusiasm. I mean, I think if everybody, you know, really throws themselves into this, we could have a really great time tomorrow, and I think it genuinely is going to be one of the games of the tournament. We're super excited about it.
And I was going to ask you who you're supporting, but
I mean, obviously England.
Is the office split, or are you? Is everybody here supporting England? Or
well, we've got a mixture of Mexican and English staff in this building, and we expect a lot of our Mexican staff, but we don't expect them to support England in a national match between the two. So we will have a fairly good split, but it will be incredibly good-natured. So I don't know I would go as far as to give a score prediction. I would say don't underestimate the Mexicans. They are going to play really well. They're going to play their hearts out, and ultimately I think England will win, but it's not going to be easy for us.